I would invite Mrs. Valentina Wezena to take over and teach us.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm deemed very honored to given this platform to educate you on child abuse, sexual abuse. Please, this is going to be a form of discussion. It's not going to be teaching. So please, before I start, I would like to find out, when they say sexual abuse, a child sexual abuse, what idea do you have about it? When they said a child has been sexually abused, from the audience, if anyone have any idea about it? Yes, Dan.
So I said, I think about pedophilia.
Thank you very much. That's very good. Adults,
Yeah.
abusing children.
I mean, who express their love mainly towards children.
Any other contribution? Okay. In Ghana, we realize that a lot of children have been abused. All children's rights have been abused, and we have various types of child abuse. We have the physical abuse. The second is the sexual abuse. We also have the emotional or psychological abuse. We also have commercial or exploitation of a child abuse. That is small children on the street side selling at a tender age. We also have child neglect. Most parents neglect their children. They don't provide them with the kind of education they should have. Emotionally too, they have been neglected. But today, I want to base it on sexual abuse, because as parents or as grandparents, uncles and aunties, there are a lot of things that are happening, and most parents are not looking at it. Most parents are busy, career, going to work, doing other religious activities, but not paying particular attention to their kids. So today, I'm going to talk about sexual abuse. And when they say sexual abuse, it occurs when dependent or developmentally immature children and adolescents participate in sexual activities that they do not fully comprehend to, which are unable to give informed choice or informed consent, and that violate their social taboos of family rules. And I want to talk about certain signs that you see as a parent or as a sibling or as an uncle or auntie. There are certain signs that a child that is sexually abused, we can see. Some are physical, like the child complains of pain at the genitals, or the child complains of itching every day. Every day the child complains of itching there. And sometimes when you're backing the child, you see bruises all over. And sometimes it comes with bleeding at the child's genital area. And sometimes too, it comes with discharge when they are girls. You see discharges coming from the child's genital areas, even through where the child can urinate. Frequently, the child will be experiencing infection, all sort of infections you are treating. And sometimes you associate it with candidiasis, and if that's not it, it's also another sign of child abuse. And sometimes too, the child will complain of stomach pains. Always there is discomfort at the stomach or the pelvic area or the abdomen. The child is always complaining, Mama, but most of the times, parents also associate it with, yeah, what have you gotten, what have you eaten or something, but they don't pay particular attention. And another type is sexually transmitted infection, STIs. When a child comes and we are seeing these discharges and you send to the hospital and the child is being tested and you have a lot of maybe gonorrhea, candidiasis, or syphilis, the child presents with those kind of things. And these are the signs that you see. We want to talk about the behavior of the child. There are certain behaviors as parents we should look out for. And some of these behaviors are, one, you see a change in the child's general behavior. Unusual, quiet, and withdrawn, or usually aggressive. You see that a child which is always happy, or a happy child, all of a sudden, this child is always hiding. The child is always hiding at a corner. The child is always quiet. When you ask the child will not tell you anything. She's not sick, or there's nothing wrong with the child, but you see that the child is always withdrawn. So if the colleagues or the peers are playing around, you see a sudden change in that child. The child will not like to play. Maybe the child likes playing football, but of late the child becomes quiet. Or it's a girl child, she likes playing ampe or playing games with their other peers. You see that this child becomes withdrawn and you don't understand. As a parent or as a guardian, this should keep you thinking, what is really wrong with this child? And another sign is that you see that a child will see an adult, all of a sudden, this child is scared. When he sees an particular adult, an adult that is familiar to the family, or we all know, oh, this is Uncle this is Uncle B. And you see that the child is always playing around with this uncle, but all of a sudden, when this child sees this uncle, the child is running away. Or when this child sees this auntie, is always scared. And you ask yourself, why? Or the uncle is trying to call the child, then I will not come. And the child starts hiding. The child is not, or you send the child that, oh, go to auntie or go to uncle, go and collect money for me, or go and send, no, me, I'll not go there. Me, I'm not going. As a parent, you should investigate why this child does not want to go to an uncle or an auntie that is always, he or she is familiar to. Then another sign is that the child will start using some languages. If you compare the age, a child as for 6 years, will start using some languages. As a parent, it will dawn on you some sexual languages that when a child says things like those things, you'll be worried. Where did you hear this thing from? Or a child starts writing on the wall, hey, I love you so much. That's writing certain things. Oh, you are so, I wish I would hug you tonight. A child at the age of 6 years or 7 years, that's writing sexual or love things, you should investigate. This child might be sexually abused. Another behavior is that the child may describe receiving special attentions from a particular adult or refer to a particular person that, hey, this is my secret. I have something secret to do with Uncle A or Uncle B. When you have a child and you ask the child, oh, who bought these things for you? Then she'll tell you that, oh, it's a secret. You have to investigate. What is secret between you and this person that you cannot tell me? As parents, as adults, we should pay attention to our children. It's very, very, very necessary. And anything that a child brings home from school, whatever it is, and you know that you are not the one who has bought that thing for the child, it's very necessary to investigate. Maybe you give your child 2 pencils and the child has come with 3 or 4, or he has come with some gifts that you haven't given to this child. We should probe further and ask, where did you get all these things from? Then a child that does not bedwet, all of a sudden, this child starts bedwetting. A child that maybe at 7, 9, 10 years, who has stopped urinating on bed, all of a sudden has started urinating on bed. These are all signs that we have to look out for. And then another instance is that we as parents, I know that we females, it's very difficult for us. Ghana, we have only 3 months maternity leave. When it's 3 months, most of us have to resume back to work. And we need to look for caretakers or school or whatever to put our children. But please, before you leave your child in charge of someone, kindly know that that person must be a trusted person. Number one is that there is this is a true story that I'm going to tell you. This lady went to put the baby, about 9 months baby, with a neighbor because he trusted that, oh, this neighbor will always take care of my child when I go to work. So once it's another neighbor hears that anytime he passed through the window or the back door of there, he has been hearing that the baby has been crying. The baby has been crying. She doesn't know why, but this person that they are living, this person that they are leaving a child with is also a female, and the baby too is a female. So it is okay, this is a female, so I'm living with it, a neighbor who is also a female. But the other neighbor said that anytime that she passed by, she always hear cry. She doesn't understand. So one day she decided, for this time, I'll peep through the window and see what is happening. And lo and behold, this grown-up lied on the bed, opened up the leg, and this toddler, as 9-month-old baby, was putting the tongue into the genitals. So that is what this woman has been doing, the child, abusing the child. The child always thinking is the breast. The child will always be sucking the woman's genital. Can you imagine what as 9-year-old girl is going through, 9-month-old baby is going to? Is so sad. It's so sad. Things that are happening nowadays is so sad. As parents, I took it upon myself. No, I have to educate a lot of people on our children. Who will lead the children to? It's very, very necessary and important, because as the child grows, all these psychologically, it has effects on them, on their sexual life as they grow. So as parents, we should. Another life story I'm going to share is one gentleman. We went to a conference and he shared this story with us. He said at the tender age of 6, his mother gave birth to all 6 children. He was the 7th child and he was a boy. Because he's so handsome. If you look at the guy, he looks like a girl because he's the only boy. And his siblings always, what they do is that because he's very beautiful, I would say it that way, and handsome, they like braiding the hair for the boy. And sometimes they wear the boy their old clothes. So the mother got annoyed. And then they don't want he's now behaving like a girl, but you are a boy. So he's going to send him to the uncle who will take care, because the uncle is a male, who will take care and train him as a man, because being with him, his sisters are spoiling the boy. So when they send this gentleman to live in an uncle, thinking that the uncle is a male who would take very good care of the boy and train the boy as how men should behave. In fact, this uncle that they've sent the boy to introduce the boy to homosexuality. So anytime the uncle have to have anal sex with the boy. So the boy said the only thing that he knows about sex is anal sex. The old uncle, her mother's brother, did this to the boy. And the boy never told. So when he went to secondary school, he continued to the university level. So now he's HIV positive. You see what people are going through. These people that are abusing our children are close people. They are trusted people. So as parents, when our children comes to us and they are telling us something, please do not shut them down. When a child comes to tell you something, don't say, keep quiet. Where did you hear that from? Investigate. Have patience for the children. Bring them closer to you. When they say something that, oh, ma, what is this? Especially the adolescents, when they are growing up and they are developing their breath and things are appearing and they come to you, mama, I don't understand this. Please, let us have time. Let us have patience so that we'll be able to educate them, so that we'll prevent all these sexual abuse. Please, another issue is that when a child is sexually abused, what do we do as parents, as adults? where do we go? Where do we turn to when your child is sexually abused? The first thing you have to do as a parent is that, in our society, especially when the person, the person, the abuser is a relative or a family member, we tend to cover it up. We don't want to report. We are afraid that our family name will be tarnished. Our child will be exposed to stigmatization, a whole lot of things. But I'm urging every parent that when a child is sexually abused, the first thing is that when a child comes to you as a parent and open, but oh, ma, oh, dad, this uncle or this auntie did this to me. Please do not shut the child down that, oh, you are lying. But then, please listen to the child, find out, and then take the information and give it to a next trusted person who can handle this, or the next health center or a health facility to report the case to. Then they can carry on with the investigation, but don't go straight to the abuser to accuse the abuser of doing that. But then let another person who is trusted to handle the issue so that they can investigate, and then the child's name will be protected. Please, at this point, I want to take questions. If you have any question you want to ask, if something you do not understand and you want to ask, please, the floor is open. And please, the symptoms you talked about from the beginning, I understood, or what I got from is most of them, you can really see it in the girls. Are they the same with the boys too? Most of the symptoms, some are similar, others from the discharges. Most of the males, they present with discharge from the penis. And other times they also have itching, anal itching, and then they also have discharge from the inner region. They also have cracks or bruises, or sometimes they also complain of pain in defecating. When they want to use the washroom, they have severe pain in defecating. And then another one too is that they also have pain in urinating when they want to urinate. These are some of the signs in males too. Is any other question? Those a lot is happening, but most of the times they make it family cases, so we do not even hear about it. But when it comes to health center, you see that a lot of these cases are being sent there. But because it's happening frequently, of late, you can even see a father also sexually abusing children. Brothers, incest is happening. A whole lot of things are happening. So brothers, siblings doing it to each other, peers also doing it to each other. They are being reported every day. When you take 100 children, at least 80 of them will be sexually abused, but they don't talk about it. Please.
I wanted to find out if sexual abuse only physical, because I know that sometimes it's not physical. They use pornography on phones and iPads and all of those things. So could you also elaborate on those?
Thank you very much. That brings me to my next topic. Our parents, our responsibility as parents.
Physical signs too. Sometimes the back, you see scratches on their back, on
Yes.
the bottom, the butt area. So those are also signs of sexual abuse.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Some also have scratches on their, you see that they've used bruises all over their body. Yeah, it's also a thing. Thank you very much, ma.
Hi, my question is, aside like medical help, for example, the child that said he only knew about anal sex, is there anything that's being done mentally or psychologically for such children, or is it just like medical help that they are receiving?
Thank you very much for your question. We also have psychological help for them. When these cases are being reported, we also have psychologists that counsel these children, these victims. They are being counseled, they are being mentored, they are being given a whole lot of psychological support.
So please, can you talk us through the steps? So if a child is abused sexually, what happens? You report it to the clinic? Because I heard in some cases, the mother will have to pay money for something. And sometimes families do not even have money to go for those tests. So they ask them, we need a medical test. You go, I was thinking such things will be free. Maybe in the hospital, they will do it so that they can prosecute whoever is in charge. But sometimes this poor family, they tell them, go and pay this much for the test to be done. They don't have money, so it ends there. It ends there. So what are the processes? And, I think as you are a health professional, you should talk about this so that some of them will be free. Because, a poor child who has been abused, you're asking a parent who don't have money to pay. And if they can't afford, what happens? It ends there.
Thank you very much. It's a very important question. Most of the times, parents who do not have financial support are being referred to the social workers. Yes, most hospitals have social workers. So those who can afford to pay those fees are being sent to the social workers, and they help them through the process.
That they need money. What exactly? So if a child is sexually abused and goes to the hospital, what do they do? What sort of tests do they run?
They do a whole lot of investigations. One is they do the STI test, like sexually involved, to see whether the child have, number one, pregnancy test, they do it. Secondly, they also do STI tests, meaning sexually transmitted infection, they do it. And then they also send them to us psychologists. The psychologists also come in for those investigations. And then they also give you a police form to send it to the police station for proper filing of the case. That's what they do.
The HIV test, the STD test that they need to pay for.
No, most of the times they come, if you have an insurance, it covers it all. You don't need to pay. Maybe if you're talking about the police forms, yeah, the police forms, people pay for it. But when the child, if you cannot afford, then the social worker will come in. It all depends on the hospital protocols. Yes, it depends on the doctor in charge. Some doctors do not. I know some doctors who will not even collect anything. They'll just write it for you to send to the police station. It depends on the hospital protocol.
So even if it's a public government hospital, it depends on the doctor. The hospital doesn't have, I'm asking these things because I've heard stories. Some people, it's so sad
Very sad.
that a person is going through this, and because of financial problem, it ends there. So the doctor who writes for the patient that he or she has been sexually abused has to pay. The child will have to pay. The parent of that child will have to pay. And if they don't have money, the doctor will not give the child or the form to take to the police station that he's been abused.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying, that certain cases, they'll just write it for you to send. It depends on the person you're going to meet. Do you get it? It depends on, because most of the times in government, I don't have much to say about this purchasing of forms because I'm not a doctor. Maybe Dr. Enina, maybe he is a doctor, so maybe he has much to say about that aspect because I'm not a doctor.
Hello.
I,
Okay. So this is usually an issue that comes up quite often when we see such cases. Ideally, the courts are supposed to pay for the witness. In this case, the witness is supposed to be the doctor. But usually what happens is that they don't do it. So what usually happens is it depends on who is attending to the patient. During our interaction, we go to the extent of seeking the social history of the victim. If it is somebody who cannot afford it, we'll just sign and we'll let the person go. But if it's someone who can afford it, we might end up charging. The reason is because he would have to leave his consulting room and move to the courts. Who pays for the transport, or who pays for the fuel? So that's where the money usually comes in. But it's supposed to be an appreciable amount, something which is not too expensive that the parent or whoever can afford. My advice is that even when they charge, seek a discount. Some of them are quite understandable. They might even go to the extent of even doing it for you.
thank you very much, Doc. Now, as parents, okay.
What I want to understand, is it the signing that is taking money, or the test that they are going to do that will attract the cost, or what? I don't get it.
Doctor,
And secondly, and my second question is that when this incident happens, will you go straight to the police station or to the hospital? Which one will you do it first? Thank you.
So let me answer from the second one. When it happens, the first place you report is the police station. They'll take your statement, and after taking your statement, they'll issue the medical form for you, which is a legal document. It's I think CID form 5 or something. You pick it up, you bring it to the hospital. The hospital will the doctor who is attending to the patient, or what we do is that there should be evidence that you have been abused. You understand? There should be evidence. So when you come to the hospital, doc is here, you understand, right? When you come to the hospital, what usually happens is that we will see you as a doctor. It has nothing to do with the legal documents. So you walked in, for example, you walked in as a case of you being hit by someone and you have a cut on your forehead. We are going to see you because you have a cut on your forehead. It has nothing to do with the medical forms. Do you understand? Now, when we are done, if it's pain medication, we give you, it's antibiotics, we give you tetanus, we give you whatever it is, we'll do it. Then we'll document on the hospital OPD card. Please, do you understand? When you are done, that is when the legal aspect will come in and say, oh, doctor, please, I have a medical form from the police. The essence of the form is that it tells the policeman or the investigator that in actual fact, you have been to the hospital and the attending doctor has given proof that you've been abused or assaulted. The moment the doctor signs in, he has now been added to the case. When it goes to court, he becomes a witness. Because when the judge looks at the medical form, all he's looking out for is the person who would signed it. Now he sends down a summon to whoever, and you are supposed to appear at usually I think it's in Accra Circuit Court 5. You are supposed to be at Accra Circuit Court 5 at this particular time. He will drive from wherever he is and comes there. Now the question is that who does the money go to? The law itself is a way. I don't think it has been reviewed. What's in the law usually is about 2 cedis. It's old. 2 cedis is old. That was in the 1960s. That's what's there. It's so no one, but the truth, let's be real, no one is going to take 2 cedis. Now, what has been done as part of the doctors and the way we operate, I think the Ghana Medical Association has come out with a price list for signing of certificates, signing of forms, suturing of any procedure or whatever a doctor does. There's a designated amount of money that he is expected to charge you. If you are privy to that, you should know that if I say I pay 2,000 for a medical report, I'm going overboard. Do you understand? So we usually quote within that amount. But I can also tell you that if you cannot pay, tell the doctor that you cannot pay. You understand? Some of them will understand, especially with the defilement cases. I don't know, maybe my senior colleague can answer.
One would be the signing of the form, and the two, what do you call it? The test that we done also will attract a cost, isn't it?
So let's put away the forms. Let's put away the forms. For the test, you are supposed to do it. You understand? So just like you've gone to the hospital and you are doing normal medical labs. Remember, I mentioned that when a doctor is seeing you for an assault, he's not seeing you because you go to court. That's not why he's attending to you. He's seeing you as a regular patient. For example, if someone comes with a defilement, what is of interest to me is the patient pregnant or not? Okay. Does the patient have a prior history of a sexually transmitted infection? Okay. So we will usually do HIV, syphilis, hepatitis B and C. The reason for those viral labs is not because the person who assaulted you has given you HIV. That's not why we are doing the test. The reason is to find out whether before you came to the hospital or before you were assaulted, did you have those conditions? When it comes and it's positive, it tells us that it's most likely that that infection that you've gotten did not come from the action, which is usually very within the time frame. For example, you were assaulted, let's say last night, and you come and I do an HIV test and it's positive. You didn't get the HIV from the victim. Please, do you understand? Good. Now, when it comes and it's negative, this is when the medicine also comes in. When you bring it and it is negative, all we'll do is that we'll just document on the card, and I will ask you to go to the pharmacy and go for what we call a post-exposure prophylaxis. So now you understand the essence of the laboratory investigations. The essence of the PEP is to prevent you from getting what? The infection. So you are negative. You've been exposed to somebody who didn't probably protect himself. We give you medication. If you come and we do a pregnancy test and it is positive, I'm not sure you got pregnant because the person had assaulted you. Unless maybe it was about 2-3 weeks or a month ago. For that one, we can say, oh, it's most likely. But if it is immediately and it comes a positive, now please, do you understand? Good. Now, when it comes and it's negative, that's when we say, okay, then let's give you an emergency contraceptive pill. Please, do you understand? Good. Now, the other thing also is we do what we call a high vaginal swab. Okay. So it's like we put there, we take a swab of it. The essence of the swab is that, for example, during my examination, I saw a whitish discharge. This is when the lawyers can be very troublesome. What is your proof that the whitish discharge is semen? You understand? Now, let me say this. When you are a doctor and you are caught as a witness, your job is to make sure that the person who is in the witness box is accused or is charged of defilement. I am not there to say that you are not guilty. I am there to present a state and say that you are what? You are guilty. Please, do you understand? Please, do you understand? I am there to make sure that you go to jail. That's my job. But the defense lawyers can be very troublesome. They want to prove that the sample you took is not semen. Now, how do we find out that it's not semen? Because whitish discharge can be semen, it can be infection. It could be normal leukorrhea. It's normal. Please, do you understand me? Good. So now the essence of the swab is that we take a swab, they put it on a slide, they put it under a microscope, and the microscope will tell us that this is semen. Please, do you understand? Now, the other aspect is that some people will also refer you to the CID people and the crime lab people, what we call forensic examination. So the essence of the forensic examination is that prove that the person is guilty. So whatever you find there, that will show that the person, or there's evidence of what rape, you look for it. Then it's all written in the hospital card. Now, when we are done, now we pick the medical examination form, and now we do all our documentation. Please, do you understand why now you have to pay for the investigations? So what you are saying? Oh, this can I say? Okay, so there's social warfare. Okay, so let me say this. What is the difference between, I'm trying to watch my words well. Someone who came with defilement and someone who walks to the hospital with malaria, are they different? Do you understand my question? Please, are they different?
A helpless child of the society. I mean, this child is helpless. And I think in that case, you cannot compare it to malaria.
I like that. So in case of, in the subject of case incidents, right? They are, you can all say they are all conditions that are presented to the hospital, but we can place value to the difference. That is when now, usually these decisions are usually not taken by the hospital to say, oh, this is a defilement case, so let's young fan check event is saying patients, but we have the social welfare. Okay, we have NGOs, we have people who have funding for these particular events cases. But the point is that someone has to pay for the labs, whether free or not. Someone has to pay for it. The question now here is that who pays for it?
Yeah, doctor, I can really sympathize with you guys because we have been in Ghana for a while and we know the legal system. You can do all the tests and get all the good results. It goes to the court. They know how to manipulate it to make it a foolish thing. What I think is best for us is what you're doing right now. Educate the parents, educate the children so that it doesn't happen. Because if it happens, it's a lost cause. Please educate the parents and educate them. This is all over the world. It's not Ghana is worse because we don't have any legal system to back us. But if you are able to educate the parents and the children, it might be minimized. Please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very interesting discussion. And
Okay, and my brother Kwaku said that the duty of the doctor in the witness box is to make sure that the accused person go to jail, right? Well, I think otherwise. The duty of the doctor in the witness box is to provide evidence that will help establish that there is a link between the charges being brought against the accused and the person in the witness box.
So fear. when we are doing examination, this examination of rape cases has gone from just examining to forensic examination. In forensic examination, what you are doing is that you are looking for how should I put it? Yes, you have to find a proof. So when I say that your job is to make sure the person goes to jail, I'm not saying that if the person is it's not true, you understand? But everything that you find out that will help the state. You gotta remember it is an individual versus the state. The state being a party here is that the state is saying that you have defiled the person. I'm coming, let me in. No, yes. So I am there, okay, in support of the state. Do you understand? So yes, usually that's what usually happens. So if you look at unless maybe it's the case is not really, how should I put it? It's not really clear that the person is guilty. You understand that if you look at most of their arguments, it's all pointing down that you did it. So now it now depends on the defense lawyer to prove that the person is not guilty. That's why I mentioned earlier that the defense lawyers can be a bit troublesome. For example, if I say that this is why it is discharged, and I say that it's semen. Semen means that, okay, there's something there. Please, do you understand? Now that I may be wrong or I may be right, the state will usually will not say that the doctor said it's semen, but it's not semen. Please, do you understand? But usually the defense lawyers who are always trying to prove that this is not semen. Please, you get where I'm coming. So that is the job of the defense lawyer. That's my point. It's good that you mentioned this now. So this establishment that it's the semen of the accused person, it's not the job of usually the state. That's what usually happens. If you've been to, you understand where I'm coming from. It's usually the defense lawyers who actually try to disprove the evidence that what usually comes up. Do you understand? Then I'm like, most of the time, that's why we are there. There are so many times that you talk, and the judges will ask you a simple question. Was there evidence of penovaginal entry? You say yes, then they are done. Whether it is from the individual or not, that's a different discussion. I don't know if I'm making sense now.
So I would want to take it from yes, that I agree with what Doc is saying, but I can also understand what lawyer is trying to say. Our job is to just make the evidence clear that, okay, we found 1, 2, 3, 4, suggesting this. The rest is for them to argue and then decide. So you can't say something to take someone to jail, but you can provide the clear evidence that you saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what it points to. Then they argue it out. But I think that we should be able to elevate the conversation of who pays to the, I don't know, to the states, okay, and not blame individuals. For example, I'm sure even if it's a department case, the lawyer services will be paid, right? Yes, you expect someone to come to court as a witness. I mean, the person would have to fuel his car and all that. So that is the argument of the doctors. So if we are serious as a country, I think that we should be able to say, hey, once it's a rape case, we are going to provide for all the expenses. And then everything is paid for and no one would have to charge for anything. So that we make sure that that goes there. Yeah.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much. I'll continue with the responsibility of parents. As we parents, what are we to do to prevent our children being sexually abused? One is that as a parent, never allow any, no matter what, no, whoever, whoever that person is, never allow your child to sit on the lap of that uncle. Or when your child is there and someone comes to your house, hey, uncle, so is in. Then you have a small girl there. Then come and sit on my lap. Come and sit on a please. Never, as a parent, be strong, be bold. No, my daughter will not sit on your lap, irrespective of whom you are. These are some of the things as parents we should do. Then secondly, as parents, immediately your child turns to, don't undress in front of your children. Fathers bathing and their 2-year-old is there, a girl. No, it's not right. As we parents, even as women, sometimes we women, because we are multitasked, we want to do everything, shabu shabu. When we are bathing, we take the children there and we all bath together. And then from today, we will not do those things again. We should not be exposing our nakedness in front of our children. And also, there's something that people do when they see your young girl or young boy, hey, this is my husband, this is my wife. Never. When somebody comes to your house, hey, where is my wife? Me, you know why? No, be strong, be bold. The child is too small. She can never be your wife. We should be bold as parents and put it to people who does that, because this same people that you've trusted, and that people who will defile your children, there are people who sexually abuse your children. They come in as innocent and trusted people. They will come so trusted, and these pedophiles, as for them, they are so caring. They'll win your trust. But by the time you are not there, they are doing things they are not supposed to do with your children. Another one is whenever your child goes out to play with their peers, find out the kind of play that they are doing and the kind of people they are with. As parents, when it's time for playing, they are outside playing. Go and check on them. We are busy doing, I know we are busy. We are doing a whole lot of things. But when a child goes, Mommy, I'm going to play outside with so, and so. Go there to find out what kind of play are they doing? Which people are they playing with as parents? It's our responsibility to protect these little ones. And also, I said it earlier, want a lovely child, a child that is so cheerful, a child that is always happy, running here about. All of a sudden, the child is quiet. Please, or withdrawn from people, please talk to this child. Be kind with this child. Have patience for this child. Ask questions. What is wrong with you? And whatever that they tell you, please do not shout at them. You don't say they are lying. Believe them and encourage them to say more. Tell them that when a child is bold and able to tell you, Mommy, Uncle, this did this to me. Believe it. Believe it. Tell them that, Mommy, tell them that, my daughter, I believe you. And whatever that you told him, you've done so well. I'm going to keep it to myself. I will not disclose it, but what the person has done to you, it is not right. But I'll make sure that person will be held responsible. These pedophiles, these people who defile children, these people who have sexually abused children, they put fear into them. They tell them that when they disclose it to someone, they will die. They will tell them so scary things, or they'll kill them. So as parents, we should create that relationship with our children, that they can trust that. We should be the third person. When a child loses trust for the parent, the child will be deceived outside. So parents, let's come down closer to our children. Let's listen to whatever that they tell us. And then another point is that carefully educate your grown-ups about the right values of sex. If you don't, the society will teach them the wrong values. As parents, we should educate our children. I know that most of our parents growing up, they don't tell us about sex. Some of our parents, even if you are menstruating, they don't even tell you anything. They'll just tell you that you learn it in school. We get to learn certain things from our fellow colleagues when we go to school. God will teach you, do this, do that. As parents, when a child starts menstruating, teach the child how to even use the pad. Tell the child that if you have sex with the opposite sex, you become pregnant. Not that when you are working with the opposite sex, you become pregnant. No, tell them the right thing. That when you have sex with the person, you become pregnant. Not that when you sit by the person's body touch you, become pregnant. No, let us tell them the right thing so that our children will know the truth. They will know their values, because when we don't do it, society, friends, people will teach them the wrong things. And it's always advisable to go through any material like cartoons. You see, when your children are watching cartoons, please let me monitor them. And then nowadays, there are certain cartoons that are showing children homosexuality. Like, what's the name of that cartoon? Somebody they brought it on our page some time ago. There are so many bad things. The devil is bringing so many things on social media. So as parents, let us help our kids. When we buy the iPad for them, let us put parent control on it. Let us open YouTube for kids for them. We shouldn't allow them to exploit to the adult YouTube. Let us teach them the right thing. Let them put passwords that we can control whatever that they watch. By so doing, our children will learn the values, the morals of life. Another thing as a parent we should do is that we ensure we let our children understand the value of saying no. Like, for instance, when uncles, friends, family friends come, and you see that somebody is telling your child, oh, follow me to your house, and the child said, I will not go. Or sometimes an uncle comes or an auntie comes, and then they want to hug the child, and they say, no, please let us respect the kids. We shouldn't force them. Oh, they won't penny past them. When a child said, no, I am not hugging that uncle, please understand. I'm saying this with passion because I've come across a lot of children giving their parents hints, but they don't know, they ignore it. They'll force the children to even go. When the man is sexually abusing, they refuse to go there. That is when they'll force that child, they'll even be the child that I'm sending you and you are disrespectful, follow the uncle, please. When a child is telling you that I will not go to this particular place, please respect the rights of the child. Or investigate, ask, follow up. Why don't you want to go to this auntie? Why don't you want to do? When a child gains confidence and trust in you, the child is able to open up. And another responsibility that as parents, we should provide correct answers to our adolescents about the questions that they will ask you. Some children will ask you, my child will ask, mommy, how did you get baby? A child of 4 years old ask, mommy, how did the baby come about? Sometimes we lie to them and say, oh, baby entered my stomach and it came out. Sometimes somebody will ask, what is the right age to educate our children? What is the right age? Please, I want to find out from our audience, when is the right age to educate our children about sex? The right age. When do we start telling them the truth? So this is penis, this is vagina, this is this. When this and this meet, this is what will happen. When is the right age? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what I said was at this age, you can't go by age. There are some kids who at 2 years can ask you that question. So what I think is as soon as they start asking questions, you should be ready to answer those questions. Because we have a 2 year, when our son was like 3 years, he was asking all of those questions. So it depends on how the child comes to you to ask. Because of TV, a lot of things are happening. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any contribution? Thank you so much. There's another contribution.
Yes, I think I agree with what Mami said. So when they come to you and then they start asking their questions, it should be children appropriate. But as much as possible, don't hide information from them, especially when and then told many things. I was just telling Elder that his father came back from school and told me that his teacher told him he has 2 eggs. Okay. I hide the fact that he has 2 testes. So when asking him, okay, let me check whether your balls are, this is 2. Okay. Another time he brings something up, then we can take it from there. So at first we used to say, and the grandpa told him is spinning. Like, but so I think that when asking, we should be able to explain things to them.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much.
Okay, and a little I will also add that it's very important to protect the innocence of the child by ensuring that the information we provide is proportionate to the question being asked.
Thank you very much. Mike.
Akurani befie, oko school no befie, yo baby saubiano, ya daje na chirichi mu, mani hu. Na mani hu se we, enye so se oko we hu, ana oko we hu. Me wo experience bi wo me school. Akurano, owo KG1, usa. Na sa owo fie no, oye bema. Na fie omutim no, abayi wa na ni efiri kakra wo ho. Tembia oni keji ni wine ni akwala ne da. Enti wa ma akwala ne hu se de esi ye sex. Enti akwala ne ba school no. Ne nkwala no ni omu wo keji no. No of twe akwala ba ko so woni ne be ye saade. Atenam sa akwala no nso fie wo no ya kire ne se saade we ni eye papa ne maame ya kire ni nti no wa na obekọ teacher amane. Omu fra akwala no na omu bizana Osi oye debia, oye wo hia, oye wo fie. Oni wan na ya na kire nipa a woni ne ye. Nti in fact, ye ma no ba fie. Ade bi a obeka kire wo no. Hu se wa hunu wo baabi ana wate ne baabi ana wo bi pese wo try ne ye. Ma ye nhane nkura ne awe, ye nkire omo na ye mo mu hu se we ye na we nye mo mo.
Mami, that's it. Mami.
So me wo ma wo ye boys nko but omo misa question one ne be bon komo bia na se asem bi obeka tro but say it will be bisa mama we ye den na we asem ne sen just o misa wonti no e say me na me koso ka kire na o misa
Please, how old are they? You think they don't know, they know something more than you. So you have to educate, find out, converse with them, be lovely, come to their level. Don't make it mommy child, but make it friends relationship. By then, they'll be able to open up to you. It will surprise you when you start engaging the A. As you say, oh girl, no way. Once you bring the girl to the house, you see that you will start opening up and telling you things. So when you are there, give them thought-provoking questions. They will tell you. Thank you, Mama.
Me pacho, me kakra fare bi nam de me de na so. Me walk class nursery 1. Now mo ye 3 years, it be a 2.5. Sometimes yeah take a time mom na or than when they are sleeping no. Omo say ba ko akọ to ba ko so no yes. Sometimes ba ko timi kwotena ba ko eli say na ordinary no ahye na no. Enema kiti bebre ho a omo ye. Nti parents ne ba asama me ka kire omo an say please you have to be very careful because sometimes more than or that ɛna moyɛ mo nneɛma mo practice mo feel sɛ ɔmo ni mo hwee nkwadaa na ɛreba saa generation wei no yɛyɛ deɛ ne yɛyɛ abɛgyimi bere o ɔmo deɛ sese ɔmo ani ate na ɔmo nim nneɛma bebree nketenkete kyɛn yɛn adeɛ bi a ɔyɛ koraa parent ne ba na ɔka ɔsɛ ee ma mesi yoo me dem aka to be very careful eti maame wo koraa deɛ ɔmo no ɔmo anyini ɔmo apa saa stage no ho eti mesrɛ mo parents no yɛnhu bere a ɛsɛ sɛ yɛyɛ saa nneɛma no ɛwɔ nkwadaa n'anim sometimes obi wɔ hɔ a ne nkwadaa egu dan mu nyinaa baako ne adeɛ nneɛma a wɔn yɛ bi wɔ hɔ a meka sisi a wɔbɛte shock obi tumi kɔ wɔn nyinaa yiri ne ti no yɛkɔgyina ne nkyɛn a wɔn nsɛ bɛn ɔbaa no ɔkɔhyɛ akwadaa no bɛrima no mu na ɔyɛ sɛ wayɛ ne sɛ asɛ deɛ wɔde wo kunu deɛ no yɛ den edi agorɔ no so we have to be very very careful the more ano no.
That's a palm, that's.
Pacho, Miss Okakra, my first mechanic say, who say, yes, dear for. It's any boy on one. Oh, home crowd, say, hey, vagina, where pennies well. Make I say, GHS, me brave GHS, not any notebook, mamma, or church, maybe. My father was standing there. A true female reproductive organ. No, who draws you way say, we say. When I'm saying where you're there, and what yes, sign be say, and what you say, I'm who are the property because Enka Obodi say, where you see, and Kasumbango Vegiano. It me sure say, you don't be a yet me country parent, no, and to tear the my no, see a boss of pet, you almost some person back at you going to say, or more catch say, ya, you be unquada bonnie. So I suggest. It's high time say you better say actually and quadano. Of I won't so many dear, but per coin be so now engage on because my amuye din they can't hono. Yeah, most of them omuye the Western. And now by consiswana mammy can a boy and yet or year any okun and kita hundiasep. They say we are afraid you by hello, no, I coffee in the banana as a sign of although it is that we are afraid you banana of in the banana. No, or money peg nothing for a cranny him say a normal. It only shall be a obey yes, sir. They say we are see a drone. It's a not yes, sir. The A be and crowns of qua, be.
Thank you very much.
Me again. Yeah, when you were talking about things, yeah, another thing is we need to watch for adults, young men who carry candy and sweet stuff with them. Those people love to carry that, and that's what they use as their, their bait. And they also like to gather children to take to like swimming and all those. Oh, I'm taking the kids, all the kids around here come. We are going for this, we are going for that. Please keep an eye. And what we also need to know is that, see, that this world is turning to something. Even mothers. I used to work in a place where a mother was sexually abusing his own son, a teenager. The boy ended up in the mental hospital. And that is how we got a lot of them. Mothers, brothers, uncle is normal. So we really, really need to watch. You need to watch, even if it's not your child. Please, it's not only the mothers or the friends or the fathers. Everybody watch for one another, because what is going on in this world is not real anymore.
Thank you very much. Any contribution?
Okay. I would also say this. I think that if we are trying to find information from our children, we shouldn't use, if you don't tell me, I'll do this to you, we shouldn't make them afraid. Okay, because that is the modus operandi of the perpetrators. So as much as possible, we should be able to talk out of love to them. Okay, like you said, try and then make them bold. Okay, to be able to say the truth as it is. Because when I started working, I realized something. There's a condition which is benign, which is not from being abused, but people have been sent to jail because of that. There's a condition called urethral prolapse in little children, 3-year-old girls, that makes them bleed. And so you just see that their panties have blood and all that. And you might think that someone abused them. And I learned that there was a child like that. And they said, who did this to you? He said, oh, one teacher picked her on his lap when they were coming from. And they said then the teacher has abused the child. And if it's someone who doesn't know, may confirm that, yes, there's blood, the child has been abused. Okay, and I learned this man ended up in jail, okay, for a benign condition that he didn't. So we shouldn't use fear to let the children say things which are not true. And then I think that it should be the appropriate doctor, appropriate health facilities to give some of this information so that wrong people are also not sent to jail for things they haven't done.
Thank you very much. With any contribution? Please, do we have any more contribution? Yes.
Okay, so what I would also like to add is the way some parents dress their children. Oh, I'm sorry, I cry. You won't cry if you are cry, but who stress so same media. So bad, Natalia was shaba sorry. Maybe I will feel say, hey, Yamifi. Until what is wrong with that? If I'm a choy, I will follow. Yeah, your man, especially you know, you dress your moon because sometimes no. Ebian Pacono, or penny bonny, and a young sorry in poop, but a cranny didn't number so papa, no, so a crow is to stand who are conosa. Now, Bibi Bonny Alpha was in Pamacho, I will follow. Then Pesta make us, you know.
There's another thing I would like to add is that as parents, I know that the system is hard. Economically, we are all struggling. But then we should try to provide small things for our children. If they need something, basic things, please, let's try to provide. When you question some children, pad they cannot afford. So they have to go and ask an auntie or an uncle before those things will be provided. So please, for our adolescents, please, let's try and provide their needs for them. As little as it is, please, let's do well so that do not end up in the hands of these perpetrators. And also, we should respect the rights of children. We shouldn't neglect their rights. Let us respect their rights. Thank you all very much. If absence, are there any contributions? Yeah.
One year may recommend is as parents, we should trust our children, but we should also be a bit inquisitive. Sometimes when we sleep, that is when a lot of things will happen. And then especially when we provide gadgets to children of certain age, sometimes we love them so much that a child of about 4 years, 5 years, we bought phone, or the child has a laptop with access to internet and all the facilities in the house. You know, children are very inquisitive. They hear a lot. You may begin on a good note. Okay, you are even using it to learn. But once those aspects are there, in the night sometimes, while you are asleep, they tend to watch certain things that you may not know, and it will disturb them a lot. So sometimes be very inquisitive, get up to know what is happening, and then you can then discern what is going on. We should be careful about some of the gadgets that we also give to them. To me, if you are not of certain age, you don't need it. If you want it, I'll give you my phone and other things. But giving them everything without any limit and those things does not sometimes also help.
Thank you very much. With any other contribution? Then I'll add the effect of, please.
Sorry, I wasn't here from the beginning, but I don't know whether you touched on that. Where children will go to other people's house for sleepovers and the rest. I don't know whether you touched on it. And if you didn't, we should know where our children are going. We should know where they play. It might not be a friend who is going to harm your child. Maybe the parents over there may not be the people you want your children to be. So we should be sure where our children are going. And as much as possible, sleepovers a little bit too much for us. So let's watch that.
Thank you. My contribution has to do with, I think we talked a lot about that, but on the boys, because usually when we talk about the abuse, we concentrate more on the female. And from what we've said, it's easier identifying even a female who has been abused. It's easier for a male. If it is not anal, it becomes a bit difficult. But what I'll say is that we should be very vigilant, especially with our boy, our sons also, because if I'm not afraid, I'll say that as many ladies or girls as have been abused, you probably will find the same number for the boys, but we really don't talk about them because sometimes I remember when we were growing up, it almost looked like it was okay if a lady slept with a young man. There was that kind of notion. So please, with our boys too, our sons, we should be very careful, especially the females around them, the caretakers. And one thing from experience, we shouldn't trust anyone, like not, that's the way I'll put it. But no one is beyond anything. That's just the way I would say it. We shouldn't put anyone beyond anything, because when we do that, then our instincts or our ability to discern diminishes with respect to that person. But if we are apt, when it comes to these things, we would see them, we'll see the things. Even the slightest of them might give us a hint, which will lead to a discovery. So that is what I'll say.
Thank you so much, brother. About the males, I'm very passionate about that one because most of the times we don't look at the males. We always concentrate on the girls. The males too are sexually abused. They are very, very sexually abused. Especially, you could see a small boy being abused with a older woman. Sexually abused. Please, thank you so much. You always concentrate on the males too. And now I would like to add the effects of a child that is sexually abused. Number one is that they may contract STIs like syphilis, gonorrhea, HIV, and the rest. Another effect is that it can also lead to infertility problems in later life. When a child is sexually abused, the child can have infertility issues later life. It could also affect them psychologically, in a sense that it's either the person would like to involve in sex more. People who are sexually abused, it's either they engage themselves in prostitution because of psychological, do not value themselves anymore. They think that, oh, who am I? Many people have been sleeping with me. They've been abusing me. So it's the norm. So it's either made them go higher. They do it to the extreme. Anybody they want to have sex with, or they do not want to have sex with anyone at all. These are some of the effects of someone who is sexually abused. And another effect is that another psychological problem is that anytime they want to have sex or sexual intercourse with their partner, they have that perceived trauma is in their head. They always feel pain, even though the penetrating sex is not painful, but then because of the painful episode they've been through, they are not able to have sex. Or when they're having sex, they always complain of what? Experiencing pain. So you see this kind of effect that sexual abuse has on our children. So please, uncles, mothers, brothers, siblings, please, let's be each other's keeper. Even if you see someone's child as a master, please, let's look for that person. Let's protect each other, even at homes. When you see, don't even trust your husband or your wife. If you see a relationship between a father and a daughter, that is too much. You can confront your husband. I don't like the way you are relating to the baby. This is not how a father should relate to the child. If you see your wife also doing certain things, she's not stop. I know people will say to bring quarrels and so many things at home, but then we know how to communicate it. You communicate in a way that the person will not feel embarrassed or be on the defensive side. But when he does, oh, I don't think you should do something, or I don't think, okay, you leave it to me, I will do that. Or when you think that there's something you're supposed to do to your daughter, and you know that you have to be, oh, please, I will do it for you. Let us, like in a nice, we find a nice way of going about it so that you will save the life of our future leaders. So that in future, we will not be having a lot of infertility cases. It can also lead to death. Some can even die out of sexually abused. And some people also commit suicide because they are sexually abused, because they can't open up to anybody. There's one girl we interviewed, she's always been held help to people. When she came, any place that she's gone, they always abuse her sexually. So when she came, she'll say that, Auntie, I feel like ending up like a child of 12 years. They've started abusing her at the age of 80 years. She said any place, any person that she comes to be, the man will abuse her. And whenever she says it, they say she's a witch. She wants to destroy the home. She has always been tagged as a witch. And whatever she says, nobody believes it. And they'll even say that he's lying on the man. So this child, looking at this child, the child wants to go and commit suicide. So please, let us be there for each other. For the younger ones who do not have voice to speak up, who cannot talk, as parents, as guardians, please, let us be there for these young ones. So on this note, I bring this to an end. Please, someone can.
And as you said, and also the children we have in our house that are deformed, the physically challenged ones too. Say yebomodiana, yema yenikomo. Another experience even so on my class. We were talking about this sexuality in the class. And I was advising the girls that yeah, momu omusho muhuye. Say will be catch say they shouldn't follow. There was this girl almost transform on papa the neighbor or yeah, physically challenged. Very beautiful girl. But Nensa ba quite as a way kakra. And I say, Madam, I want to tell you something. Now I'm saying catch them. Or say they were no more voter region near transfer papa na ba. The my papa ni ye ni pakesi e po ye adwuma wo electricity company. And I say nane maame ne papa guy bi bo mu fie omo ne kwa asore. Obo mu fie tem bia be ye adwuma mo omo asore ba. And nane maame ne papa etu kwan. And a boy ne ba ho. Boy ne ba ye no. And obe force akra na oye physically challenging and then die. Sexually abuse the girl. Ni parents ba ya omo mama ne no. Omo an take anything. O see boy ne ka say so catch omo a obe kunos obe so she was afraid. But later on say yeah transfer omo everyone. Obo ne papa man ye. And ne papa say omo ne kwa sorry and ne fine kosi ya enti one take it one ye bibia amfa ho. Na uti musa de na ha kra na nti omo de ne ba me ho na oba school na ye ka we no. And okaye. Na still la na de ne ha no. I wanted to talk to the father, but said ya mi hu papa na o say born papa man ye ne papa so nya akra na ye close oni na de ne pa school. Che say o pene ba na sem a me hwe ya nipa bi ti sa said ya o sitie na o jai ma ne ka ye me so man ka ho hwe. But ha me enti mesra mo say ye manu e yare a that doesn't mean say omo nso they are not important. So obi ni ye te kura na onye ye ba kura na say otisa yema ye ni nkom so and they are very vulnerable. Sankrofo no omo pan ye busy omo kura chen omo a omo ye fine no enti mesra mo no so mo ma ye ni nko ho pa.
Thank you very much. That one is very, very, very important. You have something to say.
Get the chance to go abroad. This is something that we have encountered so many times. They leave their children with other families. And there was this incident that the girl came and confined the baby. She was the father's best friend. And they left the girl in Ghana with him. And he abused the girl. So when the girl came, he said, if I tell my father will kill the man. What am I doing? But I'm saying this, we are not going to go into this, but I'm saying this to say that when you are going away, please mind the people you leave your children with. They are abusing the kids. We've had about 3 incidents. And they are all church elders, church members, and everything. So please watch.
Thank you very much. Any contribution? So please, do you have something to say?
Okay, not much. I think that from all angles, various contributions have come. When he mentioned that piece about the boys, I remembered a friend of mine who mentioned when we got to the university, he was a bit into women, so later he mentioned that when he was young, the parents traveled, like Mami said, the mother's best friend, forced him to sleep with her. And then subsequently he became, thank God now it's a bit better and all that. So I think that should be watched. What bothers me sometimes is the children's rights you talk about, that we should respect it. I'm finding a trend where we are concentrating more on the rights and leaving the responsibilities that go with it. And I think because of that, our children are going a bit wayward and they are becoming insistent on their rights, and not obliged to their responsibilities in the same thing. So I think that there should be this balance, because I think around the world, we are hammering it, children's rights, leaving responsibilities behind. Otherwise, to me personally, when I look at the developed world, I think now I hear that by the time children are 15, 16, they've already, lost their virginity and all that. And I sometimes feel that it's because of these things. And that is where we are pushing ourselves to. So we should be able to have a balance as we hammer on the rights. We should be able to also talk some responsibilities into them. For me, when I was growing up, it was the fear type of instruction. And I think that helped. Okay, I think it had its disadvantage, but at least it kept me till I was wise enough to make decisions. Okay, and then I probably understood what they were trying to tell me in the fear way. Okay, hey, if you go and impregnate someone, you won't go to school again. And that was enough to keep you, okay, till you now are old enough, and then you tend to find good reasons why you shouldn't do that. So yes, what our parents did, what is being done now, and I think that we should have a fine balance so that we don't end up, like some other people. I don't know if anyone has any comments on it.
Thank you so much, Doctor. That was a wonderful contribution. Please, any other contribution? I have about 20 minutes more. It's discussion. I'm learning from you.
Hello. Okay, so mine is with the gadgets that Elder was talking about that most parents buy for their children. I will say most of the parents don't know how to use the gadgets themselves, but they get it for their children. So when you come to my house, I think we have about 4 tablets. They all have the tablet. By 8 o'clock, all the tablets go to sleep. It is the time, whether I'm in the house or not, by 8, it goes to sleep. If you take the tablet and use it for 2 hours, it goes to sleep. These are times, whatever website you visit in a day, I get to see all the websites. I can allow the website to be seen or not. I put there a whole lot of restrictions on it that Ako gets tired using the tablet. She will just pick the tablet and bring it to me because she cannot do anything on it. All you want to do, Daddy has to authorize before you do it. And if you're able to do that, you protect yourself as well as the children. Because even the cartoons that we say they are good cartoons for the children, they tweak it in a way and put things in there for the children to see that you, the adult, will not see. If you are not a person who likes to watch cartoons all the time, there are things your children will be telling you about the cartoon that you wouldn't even see. So even as we are trying to protect the children, others are trying to put something in their minds. So let's get to know the things, the gadgets we are buying for the children, how to use them. If you cannot put any restrictions on them, we just bring it to Moses or someone over here and tell him what you want the children to do on the tablet. They will restrict it for you and you will have it on your phone too. It will protect the children because in the next 2 or 3 years, where the world is moving to, most parents, as at we 40 years and above, will find ourselves wanting. Yeah, you see, we need to learn right now. We also have to learn whatever the children are learning. You put restriction on even chats. When the children is able to, one of your child, the children get to chat with their friends in other schools. They are now on Google Drive or Google something. All the schools have it. The international schools have it. So a child can be in a house just chatting with another child in a different, so that one is allowed. It is peer to peer, so they can chat. in the internet. But when they are chatting, whatever the other child is trying to teach this one can be done on the chat. Everything can be done over there. You, the parents, wouldn't know. You know that, oh, Abna is chatting with Kofi. They are friends. But you don't get to know whatever they are saying. And when the other child is exposed, they learn how to even delete messages, whatever that has been done over here. So by the time they finish the chat, they will tell you, delete all these. So you come back and you not even find anything, no trace. But then your child is having it in the head. So the next time they will continue, they will delete, they continue and they will leak. So we need to learn more about whatever the children are doing on their gadgets. And when you were saying children shouldn't sit on the laps of, the girls shouldn't sit on the laps of the uncles and the aunties, it shouldn't go to the girls. The boys too shouldn't be sitting. Because now, as it was being said, the boys are also being abused. But no one gets to know of it. I think the boys are even abused more than the girls, just because we don't get to see most of the time. You don't get to see. So the boys get abused most of the time. So we should, whatever is being done for the girls, same should be done for the boys, so that the two of them don't get abused. Lest we all find ourselves one thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask a question. Please,
Okay,
you can make your contribution.
okay, let me give it to Elder.
But your mom can be there, can send them. So the prof we can. So say, as I'm not doing. Because anyone be okra me phone me dey am dey am me ban so hwe ma me. Say especially baby wo ho a. O pese o yi we a. Utumi say wo kwa ye limited. They akra na ese obo na wo sa na be kire akra yi. Ono so na be kire wo a. Say baby eduru de di nyame. E na say de niam kakra na ebetimi asua no de. Ane ebetimi a kire won adat we ne yenye. But the bia me can so say the good sides to this, the knowledge you don't more because look, maybe I may catch and go say, yeah, your time, and yes, any good one. Say, oh, yes, no, me are there, no, me are good, no, me away. I think one of the reasons is we didn't have access to a lot of information. One. So that time, okay, you be at this old 2 car could do. Okay, no, one was answer for car, and I don't know whether you understand. So it's actually about access to information now. And so sometimes I think that the avalanche of information, it's just too much. It's too maybe the things that are competing for their attention it's huge. Yeah, there are no such information there. Anyway, I said those days, so compare background to a bogo. Chance and so on. Is that or no better baby? And I always tell it in management, we call it cocooning. They can decide not to go anywhere. But all those gadgets, or be of you, when you have access to smartphone, you can do every conceivable thing in this world. First, yes, will be near or concert. Can you imagine? Or concert, or heavy, and they won't go concert because I can't open few. Oh, maybe the uncle baby. Who said, "Me can't say me buy na ko jo ho na ba wura the room ho." And sometimes I just go there. Oh yeah, the person who what is happening. Now, one good thing about him is that opinion pa. Even these days, I just want to, but it's not easy. And let's also begin to consciously build their morals, values, Christian values, conscious. Me say no. Long, can I say? Formidable, lasting. What I say? Senya sapa na ujeja ka ho na yina. Ene mo betimi aye no. Me bom pa say ye de we nyina rade ensha enka ye ho bi. So.
Amen.
Okay. So I'm saying I'm person can't be big and it's a personal challenge me. For the year, our controls, no, we often do it, and there are some that are even paid for. Like when you buy an antivirus package, you could buy together with that. So you set up. 10 years, and if you need help, be free. Google will be, Microsoft will be. If the home was is me set up amount. The challenge I have is just so so we have controls. We've made the devices available. She has a time, every day, a time, as one, okay. But the other challenge came from the school. Most of schools, no, so their work, they have work they do online. And just like in the corporate world, where you want to use your phone to access corporate email and the kind, the IT department needs to run some installations on it. So they basically take control. You cannot take that corporate information there. So they can even wipe your phone out. You consent. School also the by because more person also they more content. So on the same device, two profiles were created. A personal profile and the school's profile. And the challenge I had was the school's profile was not being controlled the way we were controlling the personal profile. And these children are smart. Maybe I am a say she's smarter than me. Mekana or say, oh, it's not true. But they are smart. A choir of us who say if you did not way, and I'm not saying say she's doing something bad, but to have more screen time or school honor. And I hear software name, even antivirus crown for me me installing. I install it, but I can't activate it because as a school, no domain, no, I take control. And they are not doing what I want to do. So to cut long story short, I just had to take the tablet. And she's now using a laptop, which she can still access the school's device, but through a browser which I have control over. See, sometimes no, and yet straightforward. But mama who say, and yet young quiet the so into your dream school so they because sometimes they leave things open. But these are physical controls. In of themselves, no, they cannot do the work entirely. Say any omobex say parama or monso acting yamiasi ehuni mebino. Yet the no it makes it complete. Say even sometimes if they stray off, they can still sit, reflect, and choose to come out because they've been grounded in the word of God. See, may I say, let's combine both physical and also spending time. Yes, sir. It does.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now me from my pastor and me from my pastor. Yes.
When you're something Biana, say, Niana, David, no more can. So there be on some computer about how many no Apple for 1 year money, you know, being to me, Kramqua. You seem quite Kramqua. Okay. Enti, Nyaoke Kanyana, Mijiri Sanki, and ye be said yet. One my yam pedako namumbraha. I might demonstrating a man being trained. Said a bear be a penny bones, and you be kakra. The other thing, so now my person make kind. Now my person make come back. Yes, I Koran got now we now so near the idea. And then a discussion, there was a serious issue of Ghanaian churches in North America. Very, very serious issue. Yeah, New York police for any being in Album. And I feel my open up wild and just say, so call more forums near the no and near no more cut on implicating some elders near the beginning as and before. In the process, no Quran can maybe a memorable so. But I said, myself can't feel any of the ain't meaning what I play near and not to see a challenge. But in Quran, say there are particular elders here, a man meaning no back. Hey, why come on? Why round say? They don't want to hear that. Young people don't want to hear that. So you're penny now, oh yes, sir. Be careful. I said, when you come up, In fact, I'm just being cry. I come on. Man, the cancer. Or to I come on. Elders sleepy. Yes, auntie. All I'm saying is, yes, but said, you can't freeze. But you're careful. If you say 1 year, comments I'll make it about because I will need 10, 12, or grow up, or develop. Now, I can't say, however, and then I'm saying,
Okay, thank you very much.
Uncle Dave, you're all kind of Miss Mekaka say. I will wear waha, yenuanom, shremo. Me challenging granny mono, Sabbath, in granny be the phones, sorry. Now sometimes, Uber won't say no man gather. Oh, Uber Costro, no more to a be board games. A be shiny my name may be. Just yeah, my dream was I say, it is Sabbath. What the phone ma ban some family then was sorry. Well, sometimes you do maybe I will back or you're innocent. Now so a cranny and no munina kogada. Na ye bibi ni ye bo games. Oh, latest way are Benny. It's a Miss Ramon penny phone, me pamucho. What the Sabbath pe munching granny phones into fee. After Sabbath, bet me there more fee because young teachers no a high. Yes, Ramon.
Thank you very much. Okay, the third time is over here.
My sister me edi kind boss so kakra. Say you say sisi a nkwala no development no. And to say first no obi wo we di 10 years. But ebia ne body size ne said ye ne stature ne tie no kra me like she looks bigger and rounded, more like ebia me anakra chen me. Into no said ye young parents no ye bema omo address no will also play a very big role in Taria ABI, you better try mom because I know say ABI say young crying and mama. We have to at least have some restrictions on what they wear. Your child will go out, and sometimes you see the child and you wonder if the mother or the father saw the child before she or he went out. Intinia Christopher. Yes, a choir. San may a play no, said ye so ye bema ye mano are coming out, especially in the appearances, especially with the girls. So media count.
Thank you very much. To add to what our sister said, most parents try to dress, especially these trousers now, they'll let the child wear skinny and a crop top, a hanging top, a child of 12 years. And you know that this child is an adolescent. Adolescent, when they are developing, they look plumpy, they look fresh, they are growing up. And then you see that the whole dress is revealing. Sometimes you wonder, whether a parent bought that dress for the child or the child went to borrow it from somewhere else. So please, parents, we have a whole lot of responsibility. Please, let us guide our children. Let us guide them in the way they dress. Thank you very much for drawing my attention to that.
Kakrepi na medical teacher, na when omuti ye no so. Otu hu akwala bi ondu nwi bi ya ye gu ne ti so no. Me ma ba ni bi nye papa o. Me ma sabe kapate me ni bi. Se o yawo further and as construction line no. Then kwala bi ba ho no na obi papa panimu a wani na obo akwala to tu akwala ntu yawo na nankan so a what I say enti how a obe ni omontari shemu ni enyi bi a obe gu akwala ni tisi no. Mr. Kaka, me this support the sister there.
Thank you very much. Ma has something to say.
Thank you very much. I wanted to touch on the kids. During our time, we used to have outdoor games. There was pilolo, there was ampe, there was nothing like laptop. We didn't get access to so much screen time. But now our kids are inside. Adenakobobo. So their mindset, I think, is skewed to some sort of actions or what their friends tell them. But if you allow our kids to involve or engage in extracurricular activities like swimming, playing of football, there's so many things they can engage in. When a child is engaged in such activities, there is no time for the child to think through that direction, getting screen time, like 2 hours on screen time, learning certain things from them. I didn't come in early, but I know you're talking about sexual abuse. And I believe even peers, they abuse themselves. It's not always the older person abusing the younger one. My child was telling me about 2 young boys who were caught in the washroom. I don't know what they were doing. So I think we should monitor the friends of our children. We should be friends with the friends of our children to know them better. And if you're a friend to your child, I think anything that happens to the child will be very comfortable telling you the mom first before believing in what the friend is telling him or her. So the first thing I think we should do as parents is to be friends with our children. That's the key thing. And we should know the circle of friends our children make in this setup of our world now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sister. That's a very wonderful contribution. Who wants to talk?
I'm so that's the one. Some troubles for Juma de you will be in a star restrictions be prevail no solo. At December, make I say a call be quiet SDA. Now you want so for money Elvis matter say you know. If a panumuti say make us have a delivery winimoshi. But a one and Kolani be a Adventist. Omba be so ye. The show ya to the sense say. I feel no maybe no money. For SDA soft over we near the number fear. Sometimes no, the parents cry and Jimmy say, or no never yes, I no. And ye can't a senior me any when to say, and collaboni be so we are here, almost so by SDA, and maybe Brabe Adventist great people are almost crown on me and Adventist. It's in your mess, and say, and pie do why. And I want 2 car, war bahano. We create them pie bopa. One no way no ma. As a family, mobile together. If you are a week-long program, and Pedro was saying, Chese, said you may ban a kind, you know. Who was our banner than 4? One no bomb pie boom. Mu ye we. A woman say, Oba dear, but sometimes or could do baby or Kai say. And pie say, na me mammy, and I'm papa, it's me. It's here see a pay at the end. Your man colano on your day, and you're part of us. Now you me more, and my name may be because I the cano. Obey a day, never ya, just empire boy a day, it's a tree. Now, pastor, so yes, ya more programs, sir. Loot no, ya will move and teach a movie brave. Munye be ma a bino middle age for near, you know. Sometimes all my severe adventurous when dear. But you will never be over yamping for years. You found you to me a day. And room, normal senior maybe I say, oh, I stop no more. No more in a patch of the morning.
Thank you very much. I think my time is up. It has been a wonderful discussion. I've learned a lot from you. And I just want to ask one simple question before we put it to an end. I want to find out when a child is abused, what are some of the signs that will tell you, or the signs that will let you, the mother or the parents or the guidance, know that no, there is something wrong with my word. I want two people then in end it.
Previously, they don't do it again. And also some of them refuse food. They don't want to go into gathering. These are some of the things that we should watch. If your child is an outgoing child and you notice that now the child is withdrawn, she doesn't want to, or he doesn't want to participate in any activity, no food, going to school, no. Okay, I'm taking you to auntie, I don't want to go. When she sees people, the person is frightened or scared, we have to study them to know. So these are some of the things that we should notice. And sometimes we should check their body parts also. It maybe might not be sexually abused or it can be physical. So you should know your child well. We have to, now when the kids are growing, they try to, they are shy sometimes when they are the pre-adolescent stage. They don't want you to check on their body. But as a parent, it's your child, whether male or female, assess, you get it? No, let me put it that way. Oba she ne name she si bibia you okay obema obehwe no obetimi ahwe ne to inner parts na hwe say if there are any bruises, if there is anything, if the child become uncomfortable to prevent you from checking those things, then there's a question mark. Then you need to probe further. What is wrong with you? We should be friends with our children. Irrespective of the status or even the threats that the person will give to the child will run to you and talk to you about it. But I want to put this across. We are here as parents learning this. Where are our kids? There is no afternoon program for them. So I think the church should, inculcate this action into our children. I think this topic, the children should be here listening to us so that they'll learn from because we are learning to teach them. They know. So I think they should be seated here so that they know our concerns, our fears as mothers for their future. So I think the church should take this upon themselves. Now, afternoon, if the children are not coming to sit here or we don't organize anything for them, I think as parents, we should also go home. So that when you're home with your child, you know what the child is exactly doing at that time. But now I'm here. My boys are outside. What are they doing? I have no clue. I'm learning. They are playing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sister. I think you've said all about the signs. So let's just talk about the effect. The last person to tell us, we learned about the effects too. So if the effect sexual abuse has on our child in future or currently, I want somebody to just tell me that then we end it here. I want feedback. Oh. Please, Mama wants to tell us something.
Or they become sexually promiscuous or withdrawn. They don't want to have anything to do with their husbands when they get married. So those are.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. You've all done well. I think my time is up, and I thank you all so much for inviting me here. And I pray that I'll be given the next opportunity to talk to our adolescents. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the church, I would like to say a big thank you for taking time of your busy schedule to honor this invitation. We hope to see you again. I'm very enthused because when we started, the number was very discouraging, but the feedback was so massive. Thank you all. And to the organizers of this program, I would want to plead with you to organize another one because I've really learned a lot. So without wasting much time, I would want us all to rise and sing our closing hymn from SDH 103.
ancient is thine arm alone, and our defense is sure. Before the hills in order stood, or earth received a frame. From everlasting thou art God, to endless years the same. A thousand angels in thy sight are like an evening dawn, short as the watch that ends the night before the rising sun. O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come. Be thou our guide while life shall last, and our eternal home.
Please, I would call the leader of the young ladies department to pray for us. Shall we pray?
Indeed, you are Lord that helps us and guides our path to do the right things. Father, as we have learned, we ask that you will help us to be able to do accordingly as we have learned, even more, because how the world is going around, when you don't help us, helpless. So, Father, please help us. Father, we commit the rest of the week into thy hands. We ask that your blessings will go forth with us, that all that we do will be praiseworthy unto you. We thank you for an answered prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank